The Kestrel drifted through the cold silence of space, its crew still and alert, but with the hum of the ship's engines filling the quiet. The mission was meant to be routine, a map of unexplored sectors, a few days of data collection, nothing more. But now an anomaly had appeared on the scanners, an unexpected transmission originating from Earth. The signal was faint but unmistakable, a stream of broken data struggling to break through the vast distances of space. Armin, the communications officer, leaned over the console, his fingers dancing across the controls in a hurry to decipher the signal. His face grew pale as the message became clearer. The words, although fragmented, were unmistakable. "Do not disturb." He froze. The crew had known of Earth's legendary status, nothing but a myth, long erased from the galactic records. But to receive a transmission from it? That was impossible. "We're getting something," he said in a voice filled with disbelief. His eyes scanned the screens, looking for an explanation that didn't come. The captain, Ryland, glanced up from his station. "What kind of message?" "Earth," Armin said slowly. "It's Earth. It's telling us not to disturb it." "Earth?" Ryland's brow furrowed. "But that's impossible. Earth was abandoned centuries ago. The maps—" "I know, Captain. But the signal, it's real, and it's warning us." "Set a course to investigate," Ryland ordered, his voice now clipped and sharp, cutting through the uncertainty. "If Earth is alive enough to send a signal, we need to know why." The Kestrel hummed as it shifted course, heading toward Earth. As the crew navigated closer to the planet, Ryland paced the bridge, his mind running through all the possibilities. The legendary Earth was a dead world in every galactic chart they had. The planet was abandoned, its colonies extinguished, its inhabitants either long gone or completely lost to history. But this warning? It felt far too real. "Are you sure this transmission is coming from Earth?" Ryland asked, his voice steady but edged with disbelief. He was a captain of experience, but this was something new. Dila, the ship's navigator, sat at her station, her eyes glued to the screens. "Yes, Captain. The signal is unmistakably originating from Earth, and the coordinates match the ancient data we've been using." She hesitated, her fingers twitching on the keyboard. "But the map has a strange anomaly. Earth is marked differently. There's a symbol on it. It wasn't there before." Ryland walked over and looked at the display. "What do you mean, different?" "The symbol? It's not just a warning," Dila said slowly. "It's as if Earth is marked as forbidden, like an out-of-bounds area in a game. Do you think someone, or something, left this message?" Armin asked, his voice quiet. But there was a tremor in it. "That's exactly what I'm wondering," Ryland replied, staring hard at the data. "We have to find out what's really happening down there." As the Kestrel descended through Earth's atmosphere, the planet's surface came into view. What had once been blue oceans and vibrant landscapes now appeared as a desolate, barren world. The land below was a patchwork of shattered cities and overgrown forests, a fractured memory of a once thriving civilization. The ship's sensors detected no life, no radiation, not even a trace of human habitation. Dila had been watching the planet's descent through the window, her hands gripping the armrests of her seat. She had heard stories of Earth's fall, stories of wars, plagues, and eventual isolation. But to see it with her own eyes was something else entirely. The planet looked abandoned, almost mournful, like a forgotten graveyard in space. This isn't what I imagined," she whispered. Armin was already checking the ship's scanners, his eyes wide with concern. "I'm not getting any biological readings. No signs of life anywhere. But there's something else. A strange energy. It's like the planet is holding its breath, waiting for something." "I don't like this," Ryland muttered, staring at the ominous surface. "Something about Earth feels wrong." The ship landed in an open field near the remnants of a long-abandoned city. The ruins rose before them like jagged teeth of stone and metal, coated in an eerie, iridescent moss. The streets were cracked and broken, littered with the detritus of a lost civilization. In the distance, enormous spires reached skyward, but the city's former splendor was now an unsettling shadow of what it once was. "This place, it's a tomb," Ryland said quietly, his voice tense. "But where are the bodies?" The crew walked cautiously through the streets, their footsteps echoing against the hollow emptiness. Towering buildings, their once pristine surfaces now faded and cracked, loomed overhead. The air smelled thick, as if the earth itself was struggling to breathe. Armin scanned his surroundings, his hands shaking. This city, it's like it was abandoned overnight. But why? There's no trace of human life, no skeletons, no signs of struggle. It's just empty. Dila paused, her eyes narrowing. "Wait, do you hear that?" A faint whisper seemed to drift in the air, so soft it was almost imperceptible. It was a distant hum, like a voice or a melody carried by the wind. But it wasn't from the crew. This sound was ancient, unsettling. The faint hum that had filled the air grew louder, almost a low rumble beneath the ground. The crew exchanged nervous glances, unsure whether the vibration came from their own ship or something much larger buried beneath the city. As they moved deeper into the ruins, an ominous weight pressed against their chests as though the planet itself was alive and angry. Suddenly, the earth trembled, and a deep resonant sound echoed through the streets. The source was clear. A colossal door hidden within the massive central tower of the city began to creak open. The sound was ancient, filled with the groaning of rusted metal and stone, as if something had been sealed away for millennia. A cold wind howled out from the chamber beyond the door, carrying with it an unnatural chill. The crew froze, instinctively looking to Ryland for direction. "Get back to the ship," Ryland barked, his eyes wide with alarm. "Whatever this is, it's not something we want to face." But as they turned to leave, a figure, more shadow than substance, stepped into the doorway. Suspended in a glowing liquid, its massive form was humanoid, yet wrong in every way. The eyes, black, deep, and endless, glared down at them with an intensity that felt like a physical force. It wasn't just a being, it was a presence, an ancient consciousness that seemed to call to them. Before anyone could react, the door behind them slammed shut with a deafening roar, trapping the crew inside the city. The figure in the liquid stirred, its limbs shifting slowly, almost deliberately, as if it were aware of the crew's every movement. The room seemed to contract, closing in around them, and the coldness of the liquid reached out with an invisible hand, seeping into their bones. Ryland stepped forward, his voice shaky but resolute. "What the hell is this thing? Is it human?" Armin scanned the figure with his equipment, his readings coming up blank. No biological signatures, but it's alive, that's certain. The liquid seems to be preserving it, or maybe feeding it. I can't tell. Dila stepped closer, her gaze fixed on the figure's face. "It's not just a person, though. It looks ancient, like it's been here for eons." As they continued to study the figure, a low, guttural hum resonated from within the chamber. The figure's eyes began to twitch, its gaze locking onto the crew. For a moment, they thought it might be waking up, becoming aware of them. But then, something darker happened. The figure's mouth, if it could even be called that, parted slightly, and a deep, hollow voice filled their minds. "You should not have come." The voice echoed in their minds, reverberating with an unnatural power that seemed to distort the very air around them. It wasn't just speaking, it was commanding, sending waves of dread rippling through the crew's thoughts. "You are not meant to find me," the voice continued, the words piercing their consciousness like ice. "I was the last of the first ones, the final keeper of Earth's memory. Now you disturb what was never meant to be disturbed." "Who are you?" Ryland asked, his voice trembling but filled with a growing sense of defiance. "What is this place?" The figure's eyes, black and endless, seemed to narrow, though the crew could feel it watching them with a cold intensity. This was once my home, but it is no longer. It was abandoned, forgotten, sealed away. And now you have broken the seal. Sealed away, Dila murmured. What happened here? Why is Earth like this? The figure's lips moved, but no words came out. Instead, the chamber itself seemed to respond. Faint images flickered in the air around them, visions of Earth, long before its fall. Thriving cities, people living in harmony with advanced technology. But then, the images twisted, darkened, and the scenes turned to chaos. Wars, destruction, and eventually the silence that had followed. The last of my kind sealed the planet, the figure continued. We were the custodians, protectors of Earth's truth. But something terrible was unleashed. The Earth you see now is but a hollow shell, a warning to those who would seek to disturb its peace. Ryland's mind raced as he processed what the figure had just revealed. The idea of Earth being sealed, a planet abandoned by its own people. It didn't make sense. Earth was a myth, an ancient legend whispered among the stars. How could something so real, so terrifying, be tied to a place so long forgotten? The figure's presence was overwhelming. Even in the liquid, it exuded an aura of ancient power. Ryland's instincts told him to leave, to run back to the ship and never look back. But his curiosity, and the inexplicable sense that they were meant to uncover Earth's secret, kept him rooted to the spot. Armin tapped his console, trying to piece together more data. Captain, I'm detecting a pattern in the transmissions. It's like a code, hidden in the noise of the signal. If I can decrypt it, we might understand more about why Earth was sealed. Ryland nodded. Do it, but stay alert. Whatever this thing is, it's not giving us all the answers. As Armin worked, the figure's voice filled the air again, this time colder, more threatening. You do not understand. You are trespassers, meddling with forces far beyond your comprehension. The seal was created to protect you, to protect all of you from what lies beneath. As Armin finally decrypted the signal, the chamber grew even darker. The soft hum in the air became a low growl, reverberating in their chests. The decrypted message played, a series of disjointed words filling their minds like a puzzle. The first ones buried their truth beneath the surface. The planet is not what it seems. Do not disturb. Then the message ceased abruptly, leaving an eerie silence in its wake. Ryland felt an unexplainable sense of dread. The truth, whatever it was, seemed to be locked away, hidden in the deepest layers of Earth's core. But why? Why was Earth so dangerous? Dila's voice cut through his thoughts. I think the truth lies within the planet itself. It's like Earth is alive, like it's been waiting for us to come and wake it. The walls of the chamber trembled, and Ryland instinctively reached for his weapon. Move! We need to get back to the ship now. But before they could retreat, the ground beneath their feet began to crack open, sending waves of tremors through the chamber. A massive fissure appeared, and from the depths an ancient machine, rusted and monstrous, slowly emerged from the earth. Its metallic limbs creaked, and a low metallic groan filled the air. Captain, what is that? Armin shouted, backing away as the machine's eyes lit up with an unearthly glow. I don't know, Ryland replied, his voice grim. But it doesn't look friendly. The machine's massive form towered over them, a living relic of a civilization long dead. It moved slowly, its joints grinding with each step as it advanced toward them. The crew had no choice but to brace themselves for whatever horrors Earth had kept hidden. As the machine advanced, the figure in the liquid stirred again, its eyes locking onto the massive construct. The chamber filled with a cacophony of hissing sounds as the machine's movements became more erratic. It seemed to be drawn to the crew, drawn to the presence of the figure, as though the two were linked in some ancient, incomprehensible way. Get back, Ryland ordered, his voice firm as he raised his weapon. The crew backed away slowly, trying to get distance between themselves and the two unknown entities. But the machine stopped just short of them, its eyes glowing brighter now. It made a sound, low and resonant, vibrating through the walls, before the figure in the liquid spoke again, its voice harsh and warning. "Leave now. You will not survive what awakens beneath the surface." The air was thick with tension. The figure's warning echoed in their minds, but there was something else. Something about the machine's eerie presence made the crew freeze in place, as if their very instincts were telling them to stand still, to not provoke it further. The hum grew louder, a pulse reverberating from deep beneath the planet's surface. Armin looked at his console, his hands shaking. "Captain, the core, there's something happening deep inside Earth. A power is rising. Something ancient. It's not natural." Ryland's gaze hardened. "What kind of power?" "I can't explain it," Armin said, his voice strained. "It's like a heartbeat, but it's not biological. It's as if the entire planet is alive and it's reacting to us." Dila, who had been watching the figure, suddenly gasped. "It's waking up. The figure. It's not just warning us, it's protecting us from what's coming." "From what?" Ryland demanded, his patience thinning. "What is it protecting us from?" The figure's lips parted again, and its voice, though distant, filled the air once more. "The core will awaken, and with it, all that you have sought to bury will rise again." The ground trembled once more, and the chamber's walls began to crack under the pressure. Dust and debris fell from the ceiling, as the distant rumble of something massive stirring below grew louder.
"Get to the ship!" Ryland shouted. "Now!"
The crew raced through the broken streets, the once pristine city now falling apart around them. Every step they took was a battle against the Earth itself. As they neared the Kestrel, the distant rumbling grew louder. The planet was shifting, its crust cracking open, revealing glowing fissures beneath the surface. "We won't make it to the ship," Dila screamed, her breath quick and panicked. "It's too late." Ryland didn't stop, though. His focus was unwavering. "Keep moving. We can't stop now." The Kestrel's engines roared to life, but the shaking of the ground was relentless. The crew barely made it inside before a massive wave of energy erupted from the planet's core, sending a shockwave through the atmosphere. The ship shook violently, but it held together. The crew gripped their seats as the ship was thrust into the air, rising above the chaos below. Through the windows, they saw the planet split open, an enormous crack running through the surface, revealing a fiery chasm. It was as though the heart of Earth had come alive, an ancient force awakening from a millennia-long slumber. The Kestrel ascended rapidly, the planet's surface disappearing beneath a veil of dust and fire. Ryland watched the chaos below, his heart pounding. It wasn't just an earthquake. It was as if Earth itself had been wounded, and now it was fighting back. "Armin, what the hell did we just awaken?" Ryland asked, his voice thick with disbelief. "I don't know," Armin replied, his face pale. "But Earth, it's not dead. It never was. There's something down there, something that's been waiting for us." As the ship broke through the upper atmosphere, the crew could see the remnants of Earth fading into the distance. A faint glow lingered in the debris cloud that now surrounded the planet. But even from space, they could feel the pull of Earth's restless energy. The planet wasn't finished with them. The figure's warning echoed in Ryland's mind. "You have awoken the core, and with it you have disturbed the balance. There is no returning from this." But Ryland's thoughts were interrupted by an even more terrifying realization. "Captain!" Dila shouted, pointing to the screens. "There's something following us." A massive shadow loomed behind the ship, a shape that moved with terrifying speed. It was as if something was chasing them, something from deep within Earth itself. The ship shuddered violently as the shape behind them closed the distance, its presence like a dark storm on the edge of the horizon. Ryland gritted his teeth, gripping the controls tighter as he pushed the Kestrel to its limits. "Increase speed. We can't let it catch us," Ryland barked. Armin's hands flew across his console, his eyes wide with panic. "It's no use. It's gaining on us faster than we can move." Whatever that thing is, it's adapting to our speed. Dila turned from the window, her face ashen. It's not just following us. It's connected to Earth somehow. We've awoken something, and it's coming for us. Is it some kind of weapon? Ryland demanded. I don't know, Armin answered, but it feels alive. It's like the planet itself has sent something after us. The Kestrel jolted as the ship's systems overloaded. A massive energy burst shot from behind, slamming into the hull. Alarms blared, and the lights flickered. We're losing power, Dila cried, her fingers frantically working the console. If we don't outrun it, we'll be caught. Ryland's mind raced, trying to calculate their best option. The ship's systems were failing. They were too far from any nearby planet for a safe escape, and they couldn't outrun the force behind them. If they didn't act fast, they'd be destroyed. We need to fight back, Ryland said, his voice determined. Armin, is there any way to use the ship's weapons? Armin's fingers moved rapidly, but the ship's weapon systems weren't designed to deal with an unknown organic force. The weapons are useless against something like this, he replied. We have to do something, Dila said. We can't just run forever. Ryland's eyes narrowed. We need to stop it at its source. Whatever it is, it's connected to Earth. We're going back. He turned the ship around, heading toward the planet, prepared to face whatever waited there. The crew, unsure but desperate, followed his lead. As the Kestrel re-entered Earth's atmosphere, the ground seemed to open up beneath them, as if the planet itself was guiding them back to its heart. The ship rattled as they descended, the air filled with heat and turbulence. Brace for impact, Ryland shouted. They landed roughly on the planet's surface just outside the central tower where the figure had once floated. The massive machine, now fully awake, stood at the entrance. It was not alone. Dozens of others, identical in form, emerged from hidden chambers beneath the Earth. We need to stop them now, Ryland said, his voice hard. This is it. The ship's hull groaned as it came to a halt on the fractured ground, surrounded by the ruins of a forgotten city. The once pristine streets were now a jagged maze of twisted metal and shattered stone, as if the very Earth had rebelled against the destruction it had witnessed. The massive machines, dozens of them, began to move, their massive forms shifting in unison as they surrounded the crew. Each one towered over the Kestrel, their glowing eyes like beacons of cold, unfeeling intent. The crew, still inside the ship, stared in horror. We don't have time to fight all of them, Dila said, her voice tight with fear. Then we need to find the source, Ryland said, determination hardening his features. There's a reason these things are here. They're trying to protect the core. If we don't stop it, we'll never leave this planet. Without waiting for further input, Ryland activated the external doors. He gestured for the crew to follow him. The oppressive heat of Earth's atmosphere felt suffocating as they stepped outside, their boots crunching on the broken stone. The massive machines continued to encircle the ship, their movements almost ritualistic, as if preparing for something larger to unfold. Ryland led them toward the central tower, the source of the disturbance. The figure in the liquid, now partially awake, loomed in their thoughts, reminding them of the warning. The core will awaken. You will not survive what lies beneath. The central tower loomed before them, an ancient structure that seemed to pulse with a life of its own. The walls hummed with a strange energy, sending vibrations through the air. The closer they got, the more it felt as though the planet was drawing them in, like a magnetic force pulling them toward something deep beneath the surface. Whatever we do, we need to act fast, Ryland said, his voice low. If we don't stop this, Earth will be lost forever. All of us will be lost. Dila, who had been silent for some time, spoke up, her voice trembling. I don't think it's just Earth that's at risk. Whatever's down there, it's not just a power, it's a force. They reached the base of the tower, where a massive, glowing door stood. The symbols etched into it were incomprehensible, alien to their eyes, yet they seemed oddly familiar. Ryland placed his hand on the door, and to his surprise, it opened slowly, as though it were inviting them in. Inside, The core of the planet lay before them, a swirling mass of dark energy pulsing like a heartbeat. The air was thick with the force of it, and the ground beneath them vibrated with an intensity they could feel in their bones. Armin's eyes widened as he analyzed the core's energy signature. This isn't just power, it's a consciousness, a sentience that's been trapped beneath Earth for millennia. The figure's voice echoed in their minds again, deep and ominous. You have come to face what was never meant to be known. You will awaken the sleeping god. The dark energy from the core surged outward, flooding the room with intense, blinding light. The walls of the chamber cracked open, revealing a vast, cavernous expanse that stretched endlessly below. Ryland, Dila, and Armin stood frozen, their minds reeling from the realization of what they were facing. This was no ordinary power. It was something ancient, something primal, an entity that had been buried beneath Earth for eternity. The figure's voice echoed once more, now filled with a profound sadness. This is not the end you seek. What you have disturbed is beyond your understanding. The Earth's awakening will bring the end of all things. There is no escape. Armin staggered back, his voice weak. We have to destroy it. We have to stop it before it awakens fully. Ryland nodded grimly. How? I don't know, Armin admitted. The energy, it's too strong. If we try to interfere, we might trigger something worse. But it was too late. The core's power surged to a crescendo, sending a shockwave throughout the planet. The ground split open, and the sky above was torn apart by the force of the awakening. A massive figure, ancient and grotesque, rose from the depths, its body writhing with the power of the Earth itself. It was the sleeping god, the force that had been imprisoned beneath the surface for eons. You cannot stop it, the figure in the liquid said, its voice hollow and resigned. The world will crumble, and all will be consumed. Ryland's voice was the only thing that cut through the chaos. Then we'll burn with it. As the god loomed over them, the crew braced for the inevitable, the end of all they had known. The Kestrel was their only hope now, but it would take a miracle to escape the wrath of Earth's awakening. If you watched until the end, a huge compliment. You're now a real Alien Aura subscriber.